Hey everybody, before this video starts, I wanted to jump on here and explain something real quick. I recorded this video before I recorded the previous video that I posted last week, so I just wanted to jump on here and help with any confusion. In this video, you're going to see some heucheras that I planted in my previous video, and I explain in there that I'm going to be planting them in a project, and I've already done that. But I had to post that planting video last week instead of this week, so that's why these two videos are swapped. So I just wanted to come on here and explain that, so I hope you all enjoy this video. Hey everybody, welcome back to 2 Acres Evolving. Today I'm going to be working out in my plant room. I've got a lot of cleaning to do out here. I've got a bunch of plant containers that I've saved over the past few years, and I have some windows that I need to move out to my shed, and then I have a shelf that needs to be completely cleaned off and organized. So I thought I'd bring you all out here and kind of show you what I'm going to be doing. I haven't shown much of my plant room since I've started my channel. So I thought this would be a good time to go through and tell you my plans for this area and what I have planned for the greenhouse, which I'm going to be moving over here next to the building pretty soon. So let me go ahead and flip the camera around and I'll show you what I'm going to be doing. Okay, so this is my plant room. It's a 10 by 16 building that I have out in my backyard, and I've used it to store plants. And last winter I stored a lot of plants in here to overwinter them. And it did pretty good. However, I'm going to start moving most of my plants out to the greenhouse now that I have one. So I want to get this place cleaned up and organized so that I can use it mainly for starting seeds and stuff like that, so I can get a boost on my plants for next year. So let me get you a little bit closer here. I have quite a few containers from plants that I've planted over the last few years. Those are going to be going out to the shed. And then I have this stack of windows right here. My parents recently had all the windows in their house replaced. So when they did, I told them to keep all the old windows because I'm building a greenhouse probably next year. Next spring I'll be building that. And I'm going to use these windows for that. I have a lot of random things like light bulbs and some gardening tools and stuff that I can move out to the shed that I won't be using as much over the winter. And I have some fertilizers and stuff like that. And then I also have this shelf right here that I'm going to be using for seed starting. So down here is where I have the canna plants, and they're all still doing good. The light's on a timer, so it's off right now, but this one right here I just potted up yesterday. There were two that was in that video that I still needed to pot up, but the other one didn't make it, so I just had that one. So I have a total of 5 now in pots, but they're doing really good. So I just need to get this shelf cleared off and organized, and I want to use, I'm not going to use the top shelf up there for seed starting, so I can store some things up there, but the other 3 shelves I'm going to use for lights and seed starting. And then over here, and as you can see, I have different paint colors on the walls. I've been kind of testing some out to see if I wanted to paint these, but I think I've changed my mind and I'm just going to leave it the regular wood color. I think I like it better than the paint. So it's no big deal. I'll just have to flip these panels over, or the painted sides on the back, and then it'll look just like this. So I'll get to that eventually. But I have a couple of plants over here. I have a pomegranate tree right here, and an olive tree under this light. These will move out to the greenhouse once I move it. I plan on moving the greenhouse right out here, right outside this window, where it gets full sun. And it'll be there temporarily because this is going to be right in the middle of my backyard over the winter, and I don't want that there permanently. So in the spring when it warms up, I will move it back over to the lot next door. But I have this olive tree, and then these plants on this table right here are for a project that I'm going to be doing pretty soon. Tonight the temperature is supposed to get down below freezing, so I was going to do this video today, but when I heard that, I decided to hold off on this project because the next 10 days there's not going to be any temperatures below freezing, so I'll start that then. And then I have some Crepe Myrtle trees and some compact holly shrubs down here. These are just waiting for the greenhouse to move. And then I'll move those out there. I also just bought this heater. I was at Lowe's earlier today and bought this heater to go out in the greenhouse to keep it warm over the winter. So we'll see how it does. I'll keep you updated on the greenhouse and see how warm it stays with this heater in there. And then this fireplace, my parents got me this like 10 years ago. And I used it last year out here in this plant room, and it kept it in the 70s and 80s in this plant room all winter long. So it does really well out here. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to set the camera up and start going through all this stuff and get it moved out. Most of it moved out to the shed, and then I'll start working on the shelves. Okay, so I got this area cleaned out and it looks a whole lot better. And I got the shelves cleaned off for the most part. I'm going to get new shelving in here. I want to get wire shelving because it'll be a lot cleaner, because when I store plants on these shelves, it doesn't look all that great and it's hard to get cleaned up. So I'm going to be replacing that shelf with wire shelving, and then I'm going to put another shelf along this wall and along this back wall and use all of that for seed starting. And I'm going to go get some more of the lights for the seed starting. Now I have these seed trays over here. I'm going to take these in because I've got to get these cleaned out. They have old plants and some of them still have the peat moss that I used in them. So I need to get those cleaned out. So I'll take them in tonight and get those cleaned up. Now the flooring in here, it's just plywood flooring. I'm going to come through and put a nicer flooring in, but I've got to come in and replace some of the plywood because some of it's not in very good shape. It was like this when I moved in, and it's just gotten worse over time. So I need to come in and replace the plywood flooring, and then I'm going to come in with either some tile or I don't know yet. I don't know what I'm going to do yet, but I want to get the flooring in here redone, and I will more than likely be doing a video on that too whenever I get that done. So now that I have this building cleaned up for the most part, what I want to do now is take you out to the greenhouse and kind of show you around. I'm about to move that greenhouse into my backyard. Where it's at right now, it's way far away from the house, and I'm going to be putting plants in there over the winter after I get them started in this plant room, and I don't want to have to walk them all the way to the greenhouse in the winter time. That greenhouse is also in an area that doesn't get very much sun right now since the sun is so low in the sky right now. So I'm going to get it moved in my backyard, hopefully sometime this week, so that it's a little bit closer to this building. But before I do all that, I wanted to go out, and someone commented and asked for a tour of that greenhouse, kind of show you what's in there right now. There's not a ton of things in there, but I can show you what's in there as of right now. Okay, so as you can see, I don't have a ton of things out here. I wanted to experiment with the tomato plants over here, but they're just not doing much. This greenhouse really is not getting much sun, so it's stayed pretty warm. I think the temperature outside is between 50 and 55, and right now it's, I don't know if you can see that on the camera or not, but it's 66 degrees in here, and that was, the big door on the front was even open, so it stays quite a bit warmer in here, and I think with the heater in here it'll keep it even warmer in here, so we'll see how it does over the winter. But I just wanted to show you some of the plants that I have in here. I have a couple of elderberry shrubs right here. These are the Black Beauty elderberry. I've gotten these anytime I find plants that are half off. I like to pick them up. I don't have a clue where I'm going to put them yet, but I'm sure I'll find a place. And then I have a butterfly bush right here. This one is called Funky Fuchsia. And then these are some mums. My parents' neighbor was pulling some of her mums out, and she walked over and handed me some. So I potted them up. I didn't even know what color they were. So I'll probably plant these next year. And then I have this hydrangea. This one is called the Quickfire Fab. I have some arborvitaes in here. These are some of the Fire Chief arborvitaes. I think I've already shown you some of these. I have a plan. I've got 6 of them out in my front yard ready to plant in a specific area, and I'll be doing a video on that. The Crepe Myrtle tree that I have over on the side of my house that has struggled this year because of the cold winter we had last year, I took some cuttings of those, and these are all right here. This one right here I need to cut back. It's just gone crazy, so I need to cut that one back a little bit. I've got some petunias over here that I never got to plant. I'll just cut those back and try to overwinter those. I've got some sedum right here, and I have some sedum over here as well that I'll overwinter and use these next year. This redbud tree, my dad found this growing in his yard and dug it up and potted it up, and he gave it to me. I just haven't found a place that I want it yet, but this is a redbud. Another petunia back there. I have mimosa trees that have popped up in my yard just randomly, so I've dug them up and potted them up to plant those somewhere. I have a couple of cedar trees right here. These were growing in my brother's yard and he didn't want them, so I dug them up, and this was last winter I dug these up, and they're still doing really good. I've got some dichondra here that I've had from last winter as well. So I don't have a ton of plants out here. However, I'm going to be moving this greenhouse over to my backyard like I mentioned earlier, and I'll move all of these plants over there, and then I'll be adding more plants to it over the winter from whenever I start seeds and stuff like that. And another thing I wanted to update you on are these misters. I added these a while ago, and they did quite well out here. I was a little worried that the plants wouldn't get enough water with just the misters out here, but I set them up on a timer to where they went off about an hour every evening, and all my plants got plenty of water. I think they suffered because of the sunlight, but everything stayed watered really well in here. So I've been really happy with those, with the misters. But anyway, thank you all so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next one.